Welcome back to the FloTrack podcast, flotrackpodcast@gmail.com. I'm Kevin. He's Lincoln, and we are coming to you on June 11th, morning of the Impossible Games. Lincoln and I are still trying to figure out the schedule of the Impossible
Mhm.
Games. By the time you listen to it, the meet will be over. But that's where Lincoln and mine heads are at right now, currently.
Yeah, with the the name Impossible, that extends beyond just the thought of holding a meet during a pandemic. It's impossible to peg down exactly when the schedule is. It's impossible to know what hijinks are going to be actually employed during the race. So excited to watch track and field, but there are still some things to be nailed down today.
This is like our own personal pre-show before the Impossible Games, because by the time people hear it, they might be listening to it during the Impossible Games, after the Impossible Games, but we have not seen it yet. So we do not know the results. Unlike Renaud Lavillenie, who's already competed and has finished. So I've already written, actually, because I'm writing the recaps. I don't want to spoil anything here, Lincoln. I've already written my Lavillenie has already completed portion of the recap. So I appreciate. I don't
Yeah,
know how high he went. I'm assuming he didn't break the world record, because otherwise that would have leaked out at some point.
probably.
If not, they kept it. They kept the ending very good secret, like the ending of Breaking Bad. Like there was just zero spoilers at all. But I just want to tip my hat to the great French pole vaulter who will compete today, even though he competed on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a new one. I didn't realize that was going to happen when I wrote my preview. That was a surprise. Um, I wonder. I have to think his height was at least somewhat respectable because he got on. I don't know whose Twitter page it was. Maybe it was World Athletics, and talking about he was going to have a drink during or while he
Mm-hmm.
watches Mondo compete today. Was that a drink to to drown his sorrows? Because he only cleared 5.4 or something like that? Or was it
Yeah.
a drink knowing, haha, I jumped 6:03 or something and it's going to be tough to top? I don't know. I do know in
Yeah.
my research from writing the Impossible Games preview that Lavillenie hasn't cleared 6 meters outdoors since 2015. So
Mm-hmm.
for him to do it at his home base would be quite the surprise. So I have to imagine it's somewhere between 580 and 5'9", if is what Lavillenie cleared.
If Lavillenie wins, is he the first person in track and field history to win a competition of which he did not participate on the day of the competition?
I would have to think so. Previously that's only Kipchoge's territory where he can the result is confirmed before the actual competition. That's a little slightly different than
Yeah.
what we have here, but yeah, was it
On the flip
technical
side of
reasons
things,
they couldn't figure this out? They couldn't do it at the same time. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it. Or was it just he was feeling good on Tuesday and decided to go ahead and jump? Who knows? We'll never know.
right, and if it's an actual competition, you need to see what the other person clears in order to know what you're going to do. The whole strategic element is gone. It's funny, we went from, oh, awesome, there's going to be a track meet. Oh, but they're going to be in different places. Oh, they're going to be on different days of the week, and they're competing against each other. Okay. They're
Yeah.
bending all of the rules of space.
Yeah.
The villain actually on Earth too, and this never really
Yeah.
happened. This is all figment of my imagination. Matthew McConaughey is commentating this pole vault competition. Wait, what is going on
Yeah.
here? There's just
Yeah, I
so
know.
many levels to it. Again, I appreciate it though. Embrace the weird, as I think you put in your preview. We have some news though about upcoming meets, so why not?
Yep.
Let's just jump into them. First, we could talk about the inspiration games, which Gordon and I spoke about briefly on Tuesday, probably before his internet got really bad, when it went from just sort of bad to borderline unusable. At that point, there were only 3 athletes named, and it was for that women's 150. Now, this is another remote competition, and you have 3 teams here. You have the North America team, you have the world team, and then you have the Europe team.
Mm.
Although I see there's a team, I think, from Netherlands who is not in Europe, but they've been relegated to World. So who knows? And we knew that Miller, Weibo,
Hmm.
Felix, and Kumbunji would be racing remotely in the 150. But now we have some other names. We have Dalilah Muhammad in the 300 hurdles, everybody's new favorite hurdle event,
Yep.
and we have Noah Lyles in the 200, and Andre DeGrasse, Jimmy Vico, and Omar McLeod in the 100-yard.
Wow, throwback.
I love it.
That is a matchup I didn't know I needed. McLeod, who I think is a sub,
Has broken 10. He's broken
yeah,
10.
I was gonna say he's a sub 10 guy and I think he was getting tired, dating back to last year, of having those hurdles in his way. So going to try for the flat race. I would say
like
DeGrasse is the massive favorite here, but Jimmy VCal, who knows? He might be ready to go for this. That's a matchup I didn't know I need. A hurdle star versus a pure sprinter, and then a classic world championship and Olympic finalist who's kind of just like one of those guys. VCal's just like, oh, he got sixth. Okay, that's kind of what he's known for.
Yeah, he runs 992 or 988 in June, and then gets sixth at the World Championships. Yeah. That's the typical season. And imperial measurements. You get that. You throw out the metric system with this one. The anti-metric sprint race. What's the, maybe they're going after a record here. Maybe that's the whole goal, to rewrite the record book in 2020.
Yeah, I was going to see if can I look up the 100-yard world record? Do we have that?
I'm sure we do.
I don't.
I'm sure that's accessible.
100 yards. Here we go. 918. And baby, does that date all the way back to 1974? Guess what city that was set in? Oh, wait, that was wind assisted. Oh, wait. Wind assisted. So a lot of these times I guess we're counting on all-time athletics. We're counting wind assisted marks. I'm not sure why. Anyways, 1974, set by Reggie Jones, 918, set in Austin, Texas, June 7th, 1974. Now, as far as non-wind assisted marks, I'm having a little trouble.
It's surprising that it's just hold on. It's just surprising though that there would be a wind assisted mark in Austin. I'm just receiving word that every sprint ever in the history of the fair city where we reside is wind aided. You and I could go out there. You raced Olivia 2 years ago in a 50-meter dash after the conclusion of the NCAA outdoor championships, and the result. I mean, the result stood. She destroyed you, but the times did not stand because it was wind assisted. So we cannot list that as your 50-meter PB.
It's tough because I really wanted to relive that certainly again. With manual timing, I just want to throw this out. Manual timing in 1969, famously, John Carlos he's tied with the record, 9 flat with a +7 wind.
Where's that?
That was in San Jose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
in Austin, Texas, on top of a mountain? Is that what?
So John Carlos, famous for obviously his protest at the 1968 Olympics, but also for somehow finding a +7 wind to run a 100-yard dash.
That's crazy. Usually you see those wind readings in Florida at Claremont, but that are high, but not 7. Now, Austin, we get some 5s every now and then, but 7. Wow.
Yeah.
So 100 yards is 91.44 meters for those of you scoring at home. I'm looking up if people have a conversion here. So 100 yard to 100 meter conversion. Milesplit.com has a calculator.
Mm-hmm.
What's DeGrasse's what's his 100 PR? Well, let's just say he's in 995 shape, right? Let's just say 995 shape. Yeah. Let's just say what a 995 comes out to. So that would get him 9.1. Doesn't have a third, doesn't have an extra digit there. So right there.
Yeah.
He could do it.
DeGrasse's 100 PB is from Doha in I think the final 990. So
I mean, he had a lot, but speaking of wind, he's had a lot of fast wind aided times too. So 990 gets you a 9.05 100 yard according to this calculator.
Oh wow.
So what did you say the record was? 9.18.
Okay, so here we go.
Is that what it?
Yeah, but that's what these are all conditions. Is Reggie Jones 1974 9.18 with a +4.6 wind. The fastest ever en route, which I have to think Usain Bolt would have smashed this, and it just wasn't recorded. But according to allathletics.com, the fastest ever en route to 100 meters is Carl Lewis, his 9.12 in Tokyo in 1991. That is probably, like I said, an inaccurate stat because I'm pretty sure Usain Bolt would have smashed that at some point.
Yeah, unless Bolt really kicked hard those last 8.66 meters, and that's where he made up the difference.
Which we know Bolt famous for kicking the last 5 meters or so.
What I'm gathering from this is that anything under 9.10 is
pretty good.
Is the target. That's where you want to go. Now, where is the grass in Florida? Is he in Europe? I don't remember. He switched coaches. I'm not sure what
that's a good point
with him.
He's on Team North America, but I think he's in Florida.
Okay.
Well, no, because he was with Raina. Is he with Raina Ryder or whatever that coach's name is?
That's what I thought. Yeah, and Jamili. He was training with Jamili.
Yeah. Which, anyways, he could be in Florida or Europe, you know? We haven't figured it out.
Well, I'm just saying if he's in Florida, we know the wind's there, right? Get yourself to a windy track. So he would remotely be competing against Vico and Omar McLeod. I think some of these people are going to be competing at the same track. Oh, I think McLeod might be in that group too. I think McLeod might be in that group.
He switched coaches last year, and I think he's with Raina Ryder as well. So
okay. So there you go. That could be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah.
Two people on the same track. Lyles in Florida, as we know, maybe the same track, different time though. He's running this 200 against Alex Wilson and a TBA entrant from the world team. So if you reside in the world and you run 200, call World Athletics. Call the Zurich people.
Yes. Who's our Turkish sprinter? Who's the guy you're always joking about?
Ramo Guliev?
Yeah, I mean, I can only hope it's Guliev. I will have to hold out hope for it being Ramo Guliev.
I would read
Alex
the
Wilson.
Heck out of it. I was just saying, I would read the heck out of a 10,000 word profile about what Ramo Guliev did during the pandemic, because I guarantee it's not what any of us think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, he's a mystery character. I would love to see him here. Excited to see Noah Lyles, obviously, and Dalilah Muhammad. I mean, this one's loaded with star power, so good on them for getting Muhammad and Felix out in California, and Miller Weibo and Noah Lyles in Florida. It's going to be really, really exciting.
Lyles ran a 150 time trial, and he put the time on Instagram, but I think he put it on the story. So I don't know if I didn't take a screenshot of it. So I don't know if I can get the time. So I know
that's the story of track and field right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
floss forever.
Yeah. It was a 14 something, I think, which doesn't really, that's right where you think he would be. Right.
Yeah.
So the year of the 300 hurdles though continues, because
I know it's
home in the Impossible Games, and now Muhammad.
Yep.
Do you want to do some more Googling? What's the women? Do you know off the top of your head, what's the women's 300-meter hurdle record?
I would have no idea. Let's see if I can. I got the 300. I got the 300 meters, and I'd have to look. I'm currently looking if I can even find the 300 meter. I mean, it's not. It's like such a niche event that it's not even available on track websites to choose from.
You Google it and Quora comes back. It's like the first hit is like Quora being people asking questions in a forum. It doesn't even exist on a legitimate track and field website of like the results. What is the fastest someone has run 300-meter hurdle record? I think she'll get it. I'm going to go out on a limb though and say she's going to get it in this in this race. Now she's in LA. That's where her home base is. And we know Felix is going to compete at the Mount Sac track. So maybe we'll see Muhammad on that same track, or maybe she'll just do it from her regular training base. But I'm excited to see the Mount Sac track. I'm just excited to see what it looks like, see people run on it. Because remember, in what seems like several years ago, there were supposed to be an Olympic trials at Mount Sac, and then it got taken away and given to Eugene.
Yeah, and it was like,
and now now both the tracks are built and there's no meet.
it was like published that the Mount Sac track was struggling to get construction completed, and then like immediately they were just like, "All right, take it away from them. That's they're you're having trouble, Eugene's building a new stadium. They're gonna have it." Mount Sac was like, "What? We just like that was just one construction delay. What's going on here?" It was, so
had your chance.
now
Sorry,
it's the hosts of
it.
the Inspiration Games. Can't wait.
One of 7 hosts for the Inspiration Games.
Yep.
30 athletes, 7 stadiums, 7 countries, 3 continents. I think that's what the buzzword is. So 3 continents. So North America, Europe. What's the 3rd continent? Because I don't see anybody in here from.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is it a TBD continent here that we're gonna get? We don't know who it is.
TBD.
Is it Asia? Is it Africa? We don't know. Well, so the events that are listed are 150, 300 hurdles, 3 by 100.
Why not?
Which is if you can find a 3 by 100 meter record listed somewhere, you might be on the dark web somewhere.
Yeah.
You might want to turn around and go in another direction because you've gotten to a dead end of the internet. If you can find
Has that ever been run
meter.
before? I've never heard that being run before.
No. It can't. Women's pole vault, Morris versus Stefanidi and TBA. That's cool.
Yeah.
100 yard, as we mentioned, DeGrasse, McLeod, Vico. 200, Lyles, Wilson, and TBA. And the triple jump, this triple jump is amazing. Craddock, Pedro Pablo Pichardo, Triple P, and Christian Taylor.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it says
and Christian Taylor on the world team for some reason.
Is he listed as on the world team?
Yeah, oh, wow. I mean, I know
they really wanted to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
he lives in Europe,
is it?
Yeah.
It's where you're at that exact moment. That's what team you're on. And then a 4th men's discipline, TBA. They need a distance event in here. I'm going to say it.
I would hope.
They need a distance event. Maybe they run back the Ingebrigtsen versus
the 2 mile. They're the 2K, I mean.
Yeah. Or maybe they do like a conventional 7 by 800 meter relay, something like that.
Of course, who hasn't been jockeying for a 7 by 800? It's just.
You know what I've wondered? I've always wondered who's the fastest 1700 meter runner in the world. And now we can figure that out.
It's up there with the creation of the universe as far as great mysteries in the world. It's like who truthfully can run that extra 200 meters if you're 1500 meter, or 100 and or what would that be, 91 meters if you're a miler. It's a great mystery. They should try that distance.
Or maybe just a 1500, but it starts in the middle of the curve and ends.
So starting at different points, ends
out of the stadium somewhere. You just, after the 3rd lap, you run through the tunnel until someone tells you to stop. You actually don't know where the finish line is. Let's go for it.
Or how about
I'd be inspired by that.
Like the cruel coaches who would you start a rep and you don't know how long it's going to be. He doesn't tell you. Maybe we can start a race with everyone, and it could be 100 meters and it could be a 10K. We just have no idea. You just go until you're told to stop. Let's start doing that.
Did you ever?
What's up?
Did you ever have a coach that did that?
No, we didn't even. He didn't even do the I'm not going to tell you how many reps are in this. No, no. I've only heard legends of this. Yeah.
Well, Bobby Kersey does it, and I never heard about that being a thing until someone told me Bobby Kersey would do it. He would just say, run a 400, and then they'd run a 400, and then run a 200. So you never knew how long the workout was. And that's why I guess Allison Felix is really, I said that's probably why Allison Felix is so good. Heard a lot of stories about her workouts too. We have never really seen, have we seen like a full Allison Felix session before? Apparently her work ethic is just insane. That's what I've heard. Which
that makes
you could be
sense.
like, wow, well, it makes sense because you're like, wow, she's so fast, she's so good, she's been good for so long. But then you're like, Usain Bolt goes out of his way to tell people how hard he does not train for things, and how frequently he's wanting to skip sessions. So it's not universal, but I think Felix is just like amongst even elite athletes. Apparently, again, this is what I've heard. It's off the charts. The the work ethic and the competitiveness.
Well, I think the intimidation factor of those legends works both ways, because if you're running against Bolt, it's like we don't even think he's in that great a shape, and he's still like whipping our butts. And then with Felix, it's just like, she's gone through the ringer already in training and has been fit for like going on 2 decades. So it's a
Yeah.
I don't know. It works both ways. I did want to highlight, I think I found the 300 meter hurdles women's world record, 38:16.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's coming across.
Breaking news here.
From Wikipedia. Zuzana Hejnova from 2013, 38:16. So I'm pretty sure that's the mark.
38:16. Now, I should go back and dig, because they did do every split for Muhammad's world record.
I'm sure it's
I don't
faster.
know if it was the Des Moines one, because you could see even the segments. There was one where they were comparing her and McLaughlin, so you could see, exactly where the lead came, because sometimes it's hard to tell with the stagger. So we could do some math and figure that out. But 38:13 is the target. Okay. What about the 3x100 meter world record? Were you able to chase that down?
Like I said, I typed that out just a moment ago, and it started to count down. Said your computer will self implode in 10, 9, 8. So I had to X out of that really quick.
I actually did. I just Googled it. I found it. Did you know when it was set?
Like 1894. I mean, I don't know, when would they have ever run that?
I got it right here. 1975 at the Sunrise Drive Field Day. It was a 6th grade group from Mrs. Smith's class that has the world record here.
Fully automatic timing, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. Popsicles were had by all afterwards as well, too. They ran. The exchanges were clean. Carl Lewis approved handoffs and all these things. Yeah. I hope that the 3x100 starts at the normal spot and just ends coming off of the curve. I hope that's where they do it.
That's fascinating. Just bring it in. You gotta people coming across the line at appears like different times, and you've got to like measure where everyone finished. Yes. This one, we couldn't get 4 athletes. I mean, was that too much to ask? We couldn't just do a 4x1. I know we're trying to mix things up, but we couldn't just maybe.
I think even a 2x2 feels more relevant, because it would be fun to just have that time. Because then at least, okay, these 2 people combined to run a 400 this fast. You'd get some cool number.
Yeah,
and
300 meters. I don't know.
300 time, they're not useful at all.
Nope.
Would you be in favor of just getting rid of 300s for everything? Like even in reps, like your coach isn't even allowed to assign a 300?
I know. We only did, I was confused the one time in my running career where we did 300s, because it was like, I mean, we just never done it before. Obviously 2s and 4s. And so I know it's the somewhat off distances are a frequent rep. We did 600s a lot. And you see some people in training do 500s. I mean, you can really do anything you want. About the only distance we didn't do was hundreds. But yeah, I don't understand the 300 gets way more credit than it deserves. It hasn't done the work as the 400 to get all this respect. I know the 300 meter hurdles was an event in high school, but I don't ever remember like being like having reverence for like a 300 meter hurdle in high school. It wasn't where the superstars went. If you were good, you were in the 100 or the 2. And it was kind of like the sprinters didn't want to do it. It was like almost a distance event, just because people, in high school are so bad technically at the hurdles. And I don't remember anyone running that well. And so it's weird to see it right now making a comeback in this. It's definitely a winner during the track and field lockdown, the 300 and 300 meter hurdles.
Yeah, that and the pole vault. There was just such a large gulf between, and this is true with any event that has a technical element, but with the 300 hurdles, you combine the technical element with the endurance needed to do it. Yeah. There was just such a wide range for the people who were good, and then the people who were just okay. It was massive, because I remember seeing some really good people do it, and they would just win hurdle races by 7 seconds or something. It was
Yeah,
just is
yeah,
preposterous, and then everyone
yeah.
else is just struggling to make it across the line to keep the form together.
Right,
I
right.
when you brought up 600, it made me think. When you ran 600s, did you think of a 600 as a long 400 or a short 200 or a short
Yeah,
800? How'd you get through it?
uh, definitely a long 400. Yeah, that's funny how
Oof.
you have to mentally think of it like that. I always got through the first 200 and it was like gliding, and you were kind of like, oh, I only have 400 meters to go. It's
Mhm.
not too bad. So 600 reps, because it was good because you kind of mentally say it's a long 400, but you kind of run them like they're an 800 rep. So
Mhm.
it was never too bad.
Now that I think about it, the one good thing about a 300 was if you had in your mind, okay, I'm going to pick it up every 100, which I think everybody instinctively does, especially at the lower levels of track and field. It's a lot easier to go like, I'm going to turn this thing up twice as opposed to the 400 when it's like I'm going to turn it up 3 times. I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just you watch a movie and it's Fast and Furious and they're shifting gears and it's like burr, 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 and then like that last shift is always like it's 3 shifts, right? It's never like the
Hmm.
fourth one. That's like way too much. So I feel like you're starting at 300, you're starting where the 300 hurdles start, you're starting on that nice that back stretch. You're not starting on a
Yeah.
curve, then you can accelerate there, and then you accelerate off the curve coming home, and it's a clean. It feels like a short 400. It doesn't feel to me as a distance runner. Never felt like a long 200. Whereas trying to like accelerate every 100 and a 400, sometimes you could get out ahead of yourself a bit. That's
Mm.
my defense of the 300 as a practice distance.
I just know it was weird. It was hard not to in the one workout we did in college that was a 300. It was hard not to like immediately just bust it from the line because we were so at least
Mm-hmm.
us non 1500-meter runners were not used to starting from that point in the track. So that starting with the straightaway was a foreign experience, and it kind of
Yeah.
always everybody wanted to try to get the inside lane, and so people would jump extremely aggressively into the start. But and that's not going to be a problem, obviously, for the 300-meter hurdles. But it's interesting. I don't know. I guess the soft records is why they're chasing these times to try to get a world record, which of course will be called a world best, and we'll get back into the old fun of track and field. Well, that's not a world record. That's a world best because it's not recognized. But all that fun. Can't wait for it.
So that meet in Zurich, the Inspiration Games, I don't know if you can call it a meet. I'm not sure. The Inspiration Clash,
Yeah.
that's July 9th. There's also been announced that there's going to be a Norway versus Sweden dual meet that's going to take place in July. And then when the actual head to head competition in the same venue starts, that's going to kick off in August with Monaco. And now we have more information about which events will take place there. They released that information
Oof.
yesterday. And the plan
We're
right
getting
now is the
excited about events. We're getting excited about events without knowing who's gonna. I like it.
women's 100, men's 200, women's 400, men's 8, women's 1,000, men's 15, women's and men's 5,000, men's steeple, women's high jump, women's triple jump, and of course, men's pole vault. We're going to see 60 men's pole vault competitions this year. It's just we're going to the well with Mondo. Save us, Mondo.
Yeah, I no kidding. I mean, he got everyone excited about the pole vault, and now they're almost going to overdo it. He's going to be like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I thought I wanted the pole vault to be more exciting, but this is ridiculous. People are counting on me to be the next Usain Bolt. Yeah, I think it's funny that there's going to be a 5K and a steeplechase
Two
at
five
the
thousands.
yeah, it's that after they were whatever last year cut.
Mhm.
It's pretty ironic that they're bringing those back. But I guess if they're bringing 300s and 100 yards back, might as well bring real events, real races back. Do we have any athletes confirmed for this? I'm trying to
No. I did
Fine.
not find
Okay.
anything yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Got it.
they just said the events. I mean, maybe they've said that privately and they're trying to get athletes together, but I would guess it's going to be quite difficult to get fields together, full fields together. Women's 1,000
Yeah.
is the only real non-traditional distance here. So this looks like a regular Monaco Diamond League.
Oof.
When you look at just the amount of events on paper, it
Mm-hmm.
looks like a legitimate meet.
Yeah. Uh, do we feel like there's going to be a bunch of Americans? It's hard to tell at this point. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I just think no one's
Yeah.
certain about if they're going to be able to travel. I mean, I think you can. I know you can take a flight. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know internationally, but you can take a flight anywhere in the United States right now.
Well,
Whether
Mondo
it's
just flew
smart
to
or not.
Sweden. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Mondo just flew to Sweden to drive to Norway. Now he couldn't go with his poles because they didn't have enough. Nick Siccardi wrote a good article about this. There weren't that many flights, so none of the flights could take his poles. So for the Impossible Games, he's using poles that he left in France from the indoor season where he broke the world
Wow.
record.
How much
He's not
money
using his
did
normal
those?
pole.
How much? It'd be interesting to see. Maybe it was in the article, but how much money is spent? I don't know if it's directly out of the athlete's pocket or if their sponsor, I'm sure, pays for it. But how much money is spent shipping their poles across the world in a normal year? Would be a fascinating number to read. That's got to be so expensive.
Well, if they're under 50 pounds, right? At least on Southwest, they're free. So you put them on the scale when you go to check in. You got to get everybody to move out of the way though, because they're really long. And you say, "Oh, how heavy is this? Oh, 4 pounds? Yeah, it's free. Okay." And then you put it in. It's now when you pick them up at the end though, you got to make sure it's not going to be on the normal baggage carousel. You got to find it
Yeah.
on the oversized bin, which
Right.
some of us who weren't pole vaulters, but we have kids, we learned that later on because car seats,
Yes.
other things like that
Yes.
that are strangely shaped that we bring for our children when we fly comes out in that oversized spot. So
Yeah.
that's a definite wrinkle in terms of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the 100, you don't need to worry about that.
You don't. One pair of spikes will do you just fine. Yeah, I would
Mhm.
I imagine shot putters though. I mean, they've got some pretty heavy implements. Do they just leave those wherever? I'd imagine anywhere you travel, you just like leave a shot put behind just in case you need
Mhm.
to kind of
Mhm.
come back. It's kind of like leaving a
Ryan
cookie
Krauser actually
trail.
has Ryan Krauser actually has shots in 39 countries and they're all held
I
in
would.
secret spots. Yeah.
I would
It's
and
going to be a great
cowboy hats and
well they're
across the world
under
too.
it's actually the plot of the next Nick Cage movie. After he steals the Declaration of Independence, Nicolas Cage has to find all of 40 of Ryan Krauser's shots that are held strategically throughout the world. It's a thriller. It's a good movie.
Now stick with me here. This plot, it's
I did pitch this to Steven Soderbergh at one point. I mean, Steven Soderbergh's
yeah,
assistant, but they
yeah.
they
In
were
a
not
world.
interested.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so this will be in the beginning of August. So the NBA will have just started, right?
Okay.
So then the reason I'm bringing up continuously on the show other sports is because I think they are really going to pave the way in terms of what other athletes do in the
Yes.
smaller sports. Baseball is having issues, but that doesn't seem to be completely related to just
No.
safety. There's other issues about labor, right?
Baseball is just, I think you can lay it out bare, is an owner's problem. They're worried about how much money they're going to make, and there's been some laughable quotes from the owners about baseball's not a great investment. Owning a baseball team isn't a great investment. These owners of teams that are worth billions of dollars. Anyways, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, there's other
Let's get
issues.
into it.
It's just out.
Now,
There
yeah.
should be yeah.
Well, so
Frustrated.
my point being, they may not be playing yet, right? So NBA will be, but they'll be in this bubble.
Yeah.
Individual sports, tennis, golf. I don't know what their status will be. UFC, you already see that happening. Obviously, car racing is still going on, but that's a bit different. I think athletes, if they can compete and have some assurance that they're going to be able to get back home afterwards safely and in a timely manner, without having to do a prolonged quarantine period, I think they will be willing to do it. But I think a lot of them are going to wait until more information comes out.
It is crazy. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's strange how our attitudes on this virus have changed. And I think it speaks to the mental fatigue of having it around and not being able to do what we normally do. But I saw a report today on Twitter from a golf reporter, that I follow. One of the not the PGA Tour, but the minor league tour. I think it's called the Corn Ferry Tour, which is a funny name. But anyways, yesterday, 3 players and a caddy tested positive for coronavirus. Now, if we go back just 3 months ago or whatever it was, we had the Utah Jazz player test positive, and that shut down the entire league and basically all sports immediately thereafter. And now it's barely making headlines that 3 golfers and a caddy tested positive, and it's not showing any signs of stopping anything. It just shows the differences, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what Gordon and I were talking about a couple of days ago when he's saying, well, the NCAA says they're going to come back. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, because they have a plan. They have a plan in place for what's going to happen. Because there's been football players that have come back on campus that have tested positive, and they're not shutting the whole thing down. They know more now, right? They know more now than they did before. And also, you assume, I don't know the specifics of that case, but if someone tests positive, you assume that they've limited their exposure at least a little bit, right? Like, if an NBA player tests positive in the midst of this shortened season, strange season, well, at least you know that they didn't go to a concert the night before, or weren't playing in a state, or weren't surrounded by 20 reporters right after. So the same could be true of these golfers. There, even people who are out and about, I think, are taking some level of precaution, or at least benefiting from the fact that other people around them are taking precautions, which is limiting the spread. But yeah, nationwide, I mean, well, in a lot of states, including ours, like, hospitalizations are at a record high. It's not going away. We're not talking about it as much anymore as we were before, for a variety of reasons, I believe, which we don't need to get into here. So when you talk about August in Monaco, I think people are going to wait. I don't think anybody's going to make a commitment until they absolutely have to. But then it becomes a cost-benefit analysis of, okay, well, am I going to buy a last-minute flight to go run in 1 meet over there, 2 meets over there? I got to adjust to the time zone. Am I going to be able to find a training base when I'm there? Or am I better off just staying put, maybe running a shortened domestic season? Like Nick Willis mentioned when we had him on the pod. I know you listened to that one because you listened to all the Gordon Kevin pods. Yeah. I mean, you came from me mostly, and you're like, oh, who's this Nick Willis guy? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You got medals. But he's saying, I've never really run the domestic circuit. So if it comes back, I'll run the U.S. circuit. I'll run these pop-up miles that go on throughout the country. Why not? If we can compete, they can get some stuff together. I mean, if the high schoolers can get together a sub 4 mile attempt, right?
The pros can probably do some. Yeah.
Yeah. So they can find opportunities to race. So that's a long way of saying I don't know how well attended they'll be. But when you trot out a program like this that has 10, 12 events, it makes me think that they have some indication that they're going to get
of interest,
people to compete.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it's just going to be Monaco's finest millionaires out there running in a community steeplechase. Although I might be interested for a track and field episode of The Replacements, but
that would be hilarious if 8 of the 10 events they got full participation from the pros, but it was too late to cancel the other 2. So then just the steeplechase, like Conseslus Kipruchu really wanted to run, and then they had to fill the field. So it's like Prince Albert's friends that are out there just trying to bribe the officials to lower the barrier once Conseslus runs past. Like, come on, can you lower that down a little bit? Yeah.
What's this Sweden-Norway duel? I hadn't actually seen this. Who's participating?
I mean, you're not going to guess. You're not going to be able to ever guess, Lincoln. But Monder Duplantis is in.
Yeah. And hopefully the Ingebrigtsens. I would assume they're also in.
They're carrying track and field right now. Stahl is in. I just saw it get announced this morning.
Okay.
It has the date. I don't think that they had a full complement of athletes competing, but Mondo's already going to be. I think he's staying there after,
Okay.
so he's going to stay in the area, and then come back to Louisiana at some point. I'm not sure when, but this is only 3 weeks away, right? That's the crazy thing.
Right.
Meets are being announced 3 weeks before they're happening, and we're like,
I know.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah. It also shows you just how quick time has gone. I mean, I know we're in June, but I keep thinking of July dates as really far off, and then it's just like, oh yeah, that's a few weeks away. That's weird. It's strange.
Dude, we're almost in the middle of June.
Yeah,
we're almost in the middle of June.
It's
fair to call this time we're in right now late, early June.
Mm-hmm. I know. Things have gone quick. I saw a tweet the other day. Someone said that they didn't remember a single minute from April. And I kind of felt that way about May, to be honest. It's just like, can I recall anything I did in May? And it's awfully
anything
difficult.
about anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
what stuff?
It's all blending together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right.
One thing I noticed from your scene, you used to have in your background, you used to have highlighters, I think, on your drawers back there. It seems like they've been removed. What's the story there?
I don't know. Ask Katie. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden they were gone. I liked it. Did you like it? I wanted to put some color in the shot.
Yeah, I mean, I just am noticing it's missing. So I was worried that you had something you had to use all your highlighters for some reason.
I had a test, and I really needed to know what the key terms were. I was paying homage to my former teaching days. I don't know. Maybe she's been doing a lot of not art projects, but the kids have been coloring and doing some things.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe that's where they ended up. But I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I don't know. I have up there now a ray carved in Belizean ironwood that I got from Belize, which was like the one trinket I allowed myself to buy. So
a ray, like a devil ray, it's like
a
fish thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
that's right.
That is
right there above
that's
my
a trinket. That's the definition of a trinket there.
Well, yeah, I didn't buy anything else, and the guy, you get approached all the time. They can spot tourists a mile away, and they're like, "Hey, do you want?" And I had said no before, but I thought it was cool. I like rays, and I thought the price was right. I also have my camera up there, which is collecting so much dust. I don't know if you can see the dust on it, but do you even remember how to use your camera at this point? Where are you at on your camera usage?
I know where it's at. It's in a box up in the closet. It's just going unused for sure. So I'll have to. I'd become pretty well acquainted with my camera, but not for the last few months for sure.
I think you have my battery charger still too, right? Or wait, no, I was using your battery charger because I lost mine a while ago, and then now I don't.
And I don't know what battery chargers have a way of disappearing. I know. I couldn't tell you where mine is. I would hope it's in the same spot as my camera, but I don't know.
To keep you sharp, to keep you fresh, what's your first question to an athlete after a meet if it happens again? So say there's a meet next month, Lincoln, you're going out, you're covering it, boom, you got the camera. What are you hitting them with first off the bat?
Alf, what shows have you been watching since being at home? Just real creative. Have you gotten the antibody test?
Okay.
Have you had COVID? That's an appropriate one, I feel like.
Yeah. That's violating medical privacy rights. I was gonna go with this one. How was the race?
Yeah. Just to keep it down the fairway.
Get the arm moving a little bit. Down. Work out the kinks in the in the muscle memory and get yourself going again. And then maybe transition to pandemic, huh? Or something like that. ...
What have you been up to? Why didn't you race in a mask? Or maybe try to guilt people? Why are you...
How about this?
Did you split your competitors before? Yeah.
How about this one? Do you always debut this late?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. Yep.
keep them on their toes a little bit. So they're like, wait,
Yeah.
and then just do an entire interview where you pretend like you didn't know that any of this has happened.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Is it possible? Because I realize when you interview people now, you don't even have to bring it up. We started with, what have you been doing during this pandemic or these challenging
Hmm.
times? Now it's just like, how have you been getting on? And you don't need to
Yeah.
reference anything at all. Just like, I think people know what we're talking about at this point. So,
Yeah. Everybody knows what the situation is. There's a common, at least people who are plugged in and on the internet, right, that common language of like, there's no such thing as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and
yeah. Yeah.
everything's.
Yeah. I've seen it all. It's, yeah. Yeah. I know. It's I'm ready to quit the internet. I'm gonna be honest.
You read it all.
It's
You
a
found the
lot.
3x100 meter. You found the 3x100 meter record, so you've got
Yeah, it's
everything.
not so bad much that it's negative and people have different opinions or whatever. It's just that that's all I've been doing is being on the internet. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
learn how to like live in reality. It's just the stinking phone that's attached to my hand at all times. It's just I don't need to check Twitter every 40 seconds. Every time I check it, it's not like I just found
Yeah.
out some golden information of which I mean, the other day I did find out that Brown Track was coming back, which is like, oh, that's
Hmm.
valuable. But I think I expect that level of like jolting news every time I check Twitter. And most of the time it's just like, I don't know, Jay Cutler and Kristen Cavallari are trading arguments about their divorce or something. It's just,
Yeah.
it's useless info. It's useless.
You
And
need the Cubs
so
to come back.
I
That's what you need.
definitely
You need the
do.
Cubs to come.
The
You need to be
MLB
focused on
draft
something like that.
MLB draft just happened, so there's that. That was yesterday. That
Mm,
was a fun refrain for me.
okay. Well, I just
Hmm.
think ordinarily, having worked with you the last 2 summers, I believe, you would be
Yeah.
very invested in game number
Yes.
57 of 100, 900,000, whatever, how many baseball games there are. And now that
It's
energy
been
is being
tough.
directed. Now that energy has been
It's been
directed
tough.
towards just something else. It's just
I know. I know. I realize how much I thought I would be okay staying home because I'm kind of a homebody, but no, this is too much even for me. This is
yeah.
between
You ready to get back?
between yeah, Gordon escaping to McDonald's parking lot with dial up and doing
Beep
these
boom, beep
web
boom.
web streams every day. I've had enough. I'm ready to you just be surprised to hear this, but I'm ready for this pandemic stuff to be over. But
You know what's
got a
weird
little bit
though?
of ways to
Wasn't
go.
there yeah, there was a point when you're like in the beginning, you're like, and you have kids, so you understand. There's a point in the beginning where like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. And then
Mm-hmm.
a little bit after that, you settle into, okay, I get the routine. I've figured out how to make this work and to balance all these different parts of my life. And it's sort of the same way with like when you first start like training, right? The beginning's super hard, and then you settle in, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, okay, this is doable. I can do this. But then I did not expect the like comeback. The what are we 3 4 months in to then I feel similarly as you of just like a whole new wave of fatigue with
Mm-hmm.
the process after a month ago or 6 weeks ago, not being okay with it, but being more able to adjust to it. And then now I'm like more stir crazy or whatever the word would be than ever, I think.
It's missing things that you didn't even realize you missed, like going driving to the office, and somewhat of a normalcy has returned. I feel much less, even though I wear mask and sometimes gloves. Go into the supermarket, I feel much less like I'm going into a war zone than I did the first few months. When you first start going to the grocery store, it's like I'm risking death by going in,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't feel that
yeah.
anymore. But
Putting your gloves on.
uh, maybe that's part of it because it was almost like a unique challenge. Not that it was a good thing, but that part is left. Any level
Yeah,
of it being
that's
a
like the
different now, it's
mundane.
yeah, the mundaneness of this boring life is set in, so it's challenging.
Yeah,
But
I I got to tell you though, I looked at Gordon sent out some plans, potential plans for things that we might do in the
yeah.
fall, and I got so excited. I've never been so excited to
Mm.
open a Google Doc from Gordon, which ordinarily that can go a couple different directions when
Yeah,
you're
it can.
opening. opening file attachments from him. But I called him after to talk about it, and I said, "Hey, before we even get into this, I just want to express to you how excited I am
I know.
just to read this document, just to think of a time when we have sports happening and can cover it safely, hopefully."
I know. I don't know if it'll be 100% safe by the time it rolls around, but I'm hoping we have some stuff to get us out of the house and to return life to somewhat levels of normalcy. But don't just don't send me to Arizona right now is all I'm asking. That's seeming a little red hot there.
Our own state of Texas is not doing well either.
No,
so,
not doing great. Yeah. Not doing great, Bob.
I mean, and I just think about being in Doha last fall, which is when the World Championships were in the fall, and just how that experience seemed so bizarre. And it was an out of body experience for me. I'd never been to a World Championships. I'd never been to that part of the country. It was extraordinarily hot. It was this weird time of year.
Yeah.
But that seems more normal than what we have going on now. That was just my own personal experience. It wasn't the whole world.
I'd probably trade like you have to run a marathon every day for a week in the middle of the day in Doha right now to what I've got going on right now. I'd probably make that trade if I could make the pandemic go away. And I would sit out in that famously warm Doha sun and just sweat and be happy with my life that I could go back to somewhat normal. So it's the things you do to return your life to what it was.
Yeah. Took it for granted. So you're excited for the fall too, potentially, if it happens.
Yes, I mean,
you've never been this excited about a cross country season.
I think that's fair. I definitely think that's a good way to put it. I've come to terms with it. It's not going to be what we thought maybe a couple months ago, where everything's going to be like wrapped up and it's going to be like we're right back to normal. It's the new normal, right? But if it's okay with the people who are going to be involved, cross country, the athletes, I think taking the necessary precautions and having cross country meets will be a excellent change of pace for me and for a lot of other people. I mean, especially just the coaches and athletes who didn't have a season from March until June. So, I'm definitely ready for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. You can email us there. FloTrack.org/FloTrackPodcast to watch the videos, and you can listen to us wherever you find podcasts. We got to get prepped now for the Impossible Games. I'm going to write the recap. Are you going to be watching it too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
Okay. So I can text you like rough drafts of things I'm thinking.
Jokes.
You can help.
And
punch up the copy. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to know that. This is good. I guess Gordon and I will be back to recap it tomorrow. Maybe you and I should I don't know if you're busy tomorrow, but I'm just not feeling like bad Wi-Fi.
Super busy. Yeah, that's me.
Well, I just think if Timothy Cherry drops a heater today, which he probably will, that deserves something better than McDonald's Wi-Fi. Well, we can talk off air, but this is like the first legitimate meet we have to like recap.
Yeah.
We want to make it. We want to make it solid, but I guess we'll see. TBD on that. Anyway, there'll be a podcast in some form or fashion tomorrow. Thank you to Alon for producing. Until next time.